Hi guys, this is Massa from the Great White North. So today we're gonna look at a new game on Kickstarter called NOSTALGIX, and we have the creator with us, Zaba. How you doing?
Welcome, welcome. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So I don't know much about this game. I saw it got a lot of traction. I can see, like in Canadian, it's like almost 1.2 million, which is like 917,000 in US, which is like enormous.
Yeah, I was going to say Canadian makes this look way better than it is.
Yeah, it is. And 2,000 backer is quite good. And there is still time to
Yeah.
back it. So, I think it's good. Like, I want to know if it's a game interesting for me. I'm not that much interested in like buying something to resell it or like getting card because they are like, I can sell them. Like the only expensive card I have is I have a Black Lotus. I have all the Fable for Flesh and Blood, and I have some really first print of Genesis.
Awesome.
Like it have a value for me. I don't. If I want money, I just buy stock. Like that's the point. So like,
thank you for that, by the way.
No, that's cool. So in a nutshell, can you explain, like what Nostalgic is? I mean, we're gonna talk about the game itself, but can you just explain the principle of the game? What it is? Like if you summarize it in like 5 sentences, what is this thing?
Yeah, so NOSTALGIX is my answer to a problem I've kind of faced for the past 5 years. I used to make custom Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic cards, and that was kind of my full-time thing. Like somebody wants to be with a character, I'd make them into a card. And we saw that there was this looming cloud kind of coming towards us, that one day a company might not be okay with fan art and might not be okay with this entire industry and just Thanos snap us out of existence. And I had a lot of responsibility to the artists I worked with and the people I worked with locally to, keep them employed, keep them safe, and keep them alive. I mean, some of our artists live in countries that are in anarchy right now. So the money they were making off my business was keeping them alive. So we started making NOSTALGIX, and it's kind of this, we've been called the Rick and Morty of TCGs. It's this fusion of all these classic TCG elements that I loved growing up, mixed with brand new ones that we brought to the table, like custom heroes and just the way it interacts together, the way we handle equipment. So it really is like, the lucid dream of your childhood. It's bringing back those memories in a new form and helping you forge new ones through a game that you kind of feel like you've already played, but still has fresh elements.
Yeah, I see. And like, why did you decide to? So I understand you were in the card business. You wanted to make something. So is there any other motivation to make a trading card game? I mean, you could have make like a card game. You could have make a board game. You could have made comics. Why did you decide to go inside this market, a difficult market?
It is. I mean, if you want to make money, don't make a card game. It's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's not for people that are just kind of, casually throwing something out there and hoping it works. This takes a lot of work to make happen. And for us, it really came down to, I grew up playing card games constantly. At every stage of my life, it's been a major, cornerstone of my life. And making the custom cards, I really got in tune with the community, and especially the Pokemon community. I felt like such positivity from them. And it's just a great community that transcends the boundaries of like a map. You could be a friend with somebody in Canada and you live in different countries, but you kind of have that shared experience. And I've always loved that. So I wanted to kind of do something like that, but in my own way. So I had endless creativity and really no walls to build within.
And so you mentioned you like card games. Like, which card game do you like the most and why?
To play Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
Like if I can't choose NOSTALGIX, which I honestly really really love this game to play. Like I've had more fun playing this since like I was 14 playing Magic the Gathering with my brother at like 2 a.m. I'd always try to get I'd try to get to 20,000 health because I had this healing deck that doubles your health all the time. And he would have a deck that would like double tokens all the time. So it was this weird battle of tokens versus infinite health. And it was fun. But I've played those two. Yu-Gi-Oh! I had a lot of fun with classically. Once they got to like Link Summons and just more of the synergy, I kind of fell off, which sounds like most people did. And then Pokemon, I collected for a long time, just like my favorite Pokemon. I played exhibition matches at Worlds 2019 and learned more about the competitive side of that game. But yeah, I would say like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Hearthstone, Magic.
Hearthstone is interesting.
I love Hearthstone. Oh my god.
Well, I did play Hearthstone when it came out, so I play Magic since the beginning.
Yeah.
And when Hearthstone came out, it was like, all right, there is something else. And there is no resource system. And I mean, like, it's by turn. There is no mana. You can't get mana screwed and stuff like that. And yeah, and so like, I mean, I play later Shadowverse. If you know Shadowverse,
Is that an expansion in there, or is that
no,
another card game?
Shadowverse is that's a Japanese game that is very similar to Hearthstone.
Okay.
And that started maybe 10 years ago, and that started like Hearthstone, so a video game kind of thing. And now it's so big that they have real card. So in Japan you have a lot of card games, and I saw that this year they started to have an anime on Sunday morning. So just after Pokemon, you get Shadowverse anime.
Oh, that's huge.
And
yeah.
So they started like a very indie video game, and this one I thought was pretty cool. But I think we have a generation of creator now that actually kind of not, I would not say started, but kind of like spent time in those kind of hybrid card game. I call them hybrid because they are not really card games, they are card game but on a computer. And can use that as resource for their imagination. So that's quite interesting.
I think we are seeing the first generation of people that grew up watching Pokemon, collecting, trading on the playground in elementary school until it got banned. And these people are now my age, and we're actually like making businesses. So you're seeing a lot of referential nostalgia in our designs, and I think it's gonna be something we see a lot more of, even when we approach more of a metaverse kind of vibe.
And why did you choose Kickstarter? Why did you not try to get it self-funding? And
so truth be told, we could have done a pre-sale ourselves, but there is a great social proof to Kickstarter. And I've been on Patreon for a while, and Patreon's kind of a weird garden. There's not really much discovery on there. You kind of just go to a creator and then you end up at Patreon. But Kickstarter actively has a promotion and search page. And there's a lot of social proof to, if you're doing well, Kickstarter shows you to more people.
That's true, yeah.
And Kickstarter is the biggest crowdsourcing platform out there. I mean, like Indiegogo.
I can't
even think of others off the top of my head, but Kickstarter is.
But like the question was more like, why crowdfunding instead of just slowly? Because that put a lot of pressure on you. Crowdfunding, you have to, it's not like when you borrow from a bank. Well, that's scary, but it's one person. Here you have like 2,000 people to please.
I have it no other way. I love it. I've always grown up with a community of people kind of supporting my creative efforts. And it really does come down to the social proof. Like, you take a loan from a bank, nobody gives a crap. Nobody even knows you did it. If you go on a Kickstarter and you make a project and people actually back you, that social proof is invaluable. Like, I don't care what APR you got, showing 2,000 people backing us, worth it.
Yeah, no, that's good. And like talking about like how this project can move on, like, do you have already people working with you, and like, do you have plan on like hiring more people and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I have had 3 people, well, 3. One of them is kind of half time right now, but working on producing items in the background and like actually doing fulfillment for our website. I had a previous business that closed on December 1st, so I'm transitioning those production employees to NOSTALGIX. But then as far as like NOSTALGIX specific employees, we're hiring an art director early next year who's one of our artists. I'm getting somebody from Venezuela a green card to work in the US and kind of rescuing them from that situation. And then I'm looking at getting a personal assistant. I've already got a legal counsel, and we're looking at an office hopefully this week. So we're trying to expand as rapidly as possible and get an HR department to onboard more creative resources.
The game design, is it all like in your brain, or do you have a couple of designers with you?
Yeah, I'd say it's really me and the artist. Like for base set, I kind of went both ways. I said, here's an idea. I want a fighter that has this ability, or like, here's a specific idea. I want a dragon made out of cards, like a booster box, or like, I want a lucky frog because Zaba means frog in Polish. And I felt lucky at the time or something. But like the turnip mech, that one kind of came from, I want something that looks like Mr. Driller, but like also kind of diva.
Which
and
card
like a
is
combination
that?
of those two.
Which card is that?
Oh, turnip's way down a little bit. Let's see. Turnip should be an uncommon, so pretty close to here. right in the middle there. Up.
Chronoku.
Chrono Crew's cool too. But up a little bit more. Yeah, Turnip. So this guy, I was like, I want like Mr. Driller, but Diva from Overwatch, and kind of combine those ideas and make like a cute mascot. And this is what we got. So sometimes I left it up to the artist's interpretation, but I generally gave a pretty good like guideline on how to go.
I see.
And like Phasia Bot over there was based on these magnets called Buckyballs.
Yeah,
you can't buy them anymore because kids were swallowing them all the time. But I was like, what if those kind of became alive and they formed different shapes that slowly get bigger and more menacing? So
yeah, that brings me to my next question. It was like, can we talk about your inspiration for the art? So you mentioned those two cards. Do you have in your mind kind of a guideline of what you want the game to look like?
I want it. It's kind of weird. Like NOSTALGIX is all these experiences I've had personally, plus some of the experiences my artists have had personally, all in one place. And it's a really personal game in that regard. Like you see swaths of different art and inspiration and different.
Yeah, I was thinking like cultural. Moriga is so different from something like the Chronoku.
Yep. So we tried to take like, if we are NOSTALGIX and we're supposed to be nostalgia of all these card games in the past, how do you take every character that's ever been created and put them into like 8 different categories and represent all of them? So what we've done is like take maybe 2 characters, and I haven't done this yet, but like say you take a Pikachu and an Agumon, and if you blend certain elements of those together and make a new character, what does that character look like? That's kind of what we're doing, but on a large scale. We're taking little pickets of inspiration from different media, squishing them together and making a new character from that amalgamation.
So I guess, is that why it's called nostalgic? So like the art direction come from all the arts and kind of combine. Is the guy behind me inspired by something?
Yeah, so Gundra is based on, at least me personally, based on like a Power Ranger Megazord. Like it's 4 pieces that combine to a really big one, or like 5. A lot of people say Voltron or like Transformers, and they're all right. Like a lot of these things come from the same source. It's just finding that source and then making your own alteration on it. Like Fish Out of Water in particular here. Center of the screen, a lot of Japanese Pokemon names are based on idioms in Japanese. And I kind of took the same idea and I was like, what are some English idioms that we could do? It's like fish out of water, maybe an elephant in the room. And I was like, that's kind of too obvious. What if we did like a gelatinous cube and an elephant in the room? And we got Jellyfin. So
no, I saw this one. I saw this like, card, it's at the top.
Mixing ideas and kind of,
Jellyfin.
Yeah, putting them together in surprising and creative ways is really our bread and butter.
And like, so do you have any idea of what your age target is, or like your kind of your target, and how you want your game to have its own identity to
our age
survive
target right now? We've played with players like 6 through 60. So I always say 6 years old is the starting age. We're not going to have any blood and artworks. We're not going to have anything crazy macabre or gross. We're just going to have like, if it's Pokemon safe, we'll probably land in there. We go slightly closer to Yu-Gi-Oh with like a character called Lilith. She's in the rares here, so if you scroll down, you'll probably find her.
So is this page by Rarity?
Yeah, so I think she's like probably halfway down the rares. But Lilith was a challenge up there on the left. She's like a demon queen. And she was actually like fairly nude with just fire covering her. And we looked at it and went, maybe we should give her armor like Venom, because then we could get around age boards and kind of keep it in that like 6+. So she's just kind of a demon queen, but she's not doing anything too creepy. Right there.
Yeah, no, I see. Yeah, because
that's about as far as we go so far. And I think maybe 10+ is what you say, just to kind of give yourself some buffer room. But realistically, any kid could look at her game and not get nightmares.
Because in practice, except Pokemon is kind of special. But right now, most of card games, and when I look at people watching the channel, the main the main target, the main age bracket is the 25 to 45 years old, because that's people who have money and that actually play something or know something from when they were a kid. But so you are trying to go broader.
Yep. Because I want those people to be the ones that can play it. Truthfully, our audience is going to be like kids, but then also a little break, and then people my age that grew up with all these TV shows, and they can look at Gundra and be like, I feel something with this character. Why am I recognizing this guy? Like, I want that audience too.
Get me one of these ones. I want one of That's the one that resonates with me. I guess that's the idea. Like you need to you want to have people resonating with something.
But like seeing the kids play it at conventions has been so heartwarming. Like kid comes up and he plays it and he's like, I love this game. And I was like, yes.
so you know, like talking about that, like, let's move to the gameplay mechanism. And I don't know much. I saw that there is a how to play section. By the way, your webpage is pretty good.
Thank you.
I found it. I mean, it's good. So can you explain us like the main? I don't know, like really, how does it work? What's the goal of the game? Like what type of cards you have, and you can tell me. I can move up and down.
For sure. So you got two ways to win. You either defeat your opponent's hero or defeat 10 of their fighters. So if you've ever played Pokemon, you have to defeat like 6 of their fighters, but now it's like 2 because everybody uses overpowered ones. In ours, it's like 1 prize counter per fighter. And if you take out 10, you win the game. If you take out your opponent's fighter or a hero, you win the game.
So you have a hero.
You really have the choice. Fighters. Yep. So you got your hero in the back row, and there should be a playmat somewhere.
But that's pretty. That's a lot of things on this playmat.
Yeah. So your hero in the back.
Okay.
You can choose 1 of 10, or you can custom design one with like you as an actual hero in the game, which is really fun.
Okay.
And we'll actually be printing those this month if I can get the website up in time, where you send in the artwork and we'll make you a tournament legal hero card with a NOSTALGIX back to use and play.
How can you keep the metagame in check if
it has to be a proxy of one of our existing heroes' health and abilities, but your artwork, you can actually be in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So you start with a hero. Right now they all have 40 health. I might, mess with more powerful abilities for less health and a trade-off. And then your mana system goes up every turn. So you have a maximum and a minimum mana. And right now we just kind of compressed it on the website to say mana meter, but like turn 1, you'd have 1 mana to use.
I see.
Turn 5, you'd have 5 to use, and you can play spell cards or evolve fighters or whatever. And so our card types are really the fighters, which can evolve like Pokemon. We have surprises, which always cost 3, and you play them face down. And when the card effect is able to be activated, then you can flip them up.
So those are like trap in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yep, like a trap or like a secret in Hearthstone. They all cost 3, so you don't have to reveal them to your opponent, which is nice. And then the spells are just kind of like your quick access, abilities. Yeah. All card games have those. And then equipment, you can either equip to your fighters or your hero.
I see.
And some of them do different abilities if you equip to your hero. But if your hero is ever hit directly, all of your equipment on them break. So it's kind of a risk-reward situation. And then arenas drastically change the gameplay. Arenas are gonna be fun. It's not like Umi or Legendary Ocean in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like straight up everything has double attack or everything can evolve into anything else. We're gonna really play with that and make it the chaotic element for both players at the same time.
Is that symmetric effect?
So if you put one arena, it affects both players.
But I'm trying to zoom, but then that's gonna become messy. So but both players can have one arena, so that will be like 2 effects.
Only one arena. So if another player plays an arena, it destroys yours.
So that's okay. So that's like Ancient World in, I don't know if they exist anymore in Magic, but there was Ancient World before Magic, and so that.
And then I believe Pokemon Stadiums activate the same way too. Like you play one, and then it destroys the opponents. But we're gonna really use that to make the games fun. It might be a little crazy, but that's kind of the fun of it. It's just being surprising.
Yeah. No, I like the idea. So, and you mentioned like if you get attacked, if your hero get attacked directly, you lose all your equipment.
On the hero, yeah.
On the hero.
If you equip things to him.
But like, okay.
And then when you attack, you can either choose fighter or hero. So it's really, as a player, a balancing game between, do I let my opponent get out of control with their fighters and just go for their hero? Or do I kind of hit the fighters and go for 10? So it's like a split thing. It really cuts out the stall decks entirely.
And so like if you take one of your fighter and you attack one of my fighter, do we hit each other back, or is it like just one way?
Just one way, and then permanent damage.
Permanent damage. So I'm not a big fan of permanent damage because it means more dice. But
we used dice for like attack boosts, and then we use like flat marbles for the damage and the health.
I see.
It's been pretty good so far, but I hear you.
See, and
it's definitely a lot more table minutes.
Okay, this is your deck. And so what is those price counter? Is that your life?
That's your 10 fighters. So every time you lose a fighter, you can take it down. I just
Oh,
use a D10 for that or a D20, but
so you don't
if you
have
want to use
like
actual marbles,
there is
yeah.
no like price card like in Vanguard or in some other card
Mm-mm.
game, Vice, Schwarz or stuff. I
Yeah.
see.
And then your deck is 50 cards. Your hero is the extra one. And
Mhm.
that's why your hero can be customized. It can even be like a Coke can or a quarter. Like you can use anything for your hero because it doesn't need to be
Okay.
shuffled. So,
I see. And like I really see the inspiration from Hearthstone because this is just
mhm,
Hearthstone. Like,
the
you
10
know,
mana system.
yeah, like an increase every turn.
hmm
Is there a way to kind of reduce it or increase it to
So some of my fighters, you can sacrifice to exponentially gain your mana,
Mhm.
like equal to the fighter's health. There's a card called Fast Forward that lets you increase it by 1 for both players.
Mhm.
And in that regard, you can blow past 10 and have a max of like 11 and beyond.
Mhm.
And technically, your maximum mana is just your maximum that you refresh to. So you can go up to like 30 mana out of 10
I
for
see.
one turn and use it if you wanted to.
That's cool. That's
They're
cool.
pretty open in that regard. Yeah.
And so, how about the interaction on the field and on the stack? So, like you say, you have
Mhm.
traps and spell.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming trap to enable them. Something must happen that meets the criteria for the trap to unveil
So yeah,
itself.
when you put a surprise, then it's really
Surprise,
about
sorry.
like reading the surprise card and seeing what kind of effect it
Yeah.
has. And then if your opponent meets the criteria for the surprise to be activated, then you can flip it and
Mm-hmm.
start the resolution step. But truly, after you draw and you get your mana reset, it's a huge open phase. You can play a spell, you can play a fighter, attack with one, evolve a fighter, play another spell, and end your turn. So it's completely wide open, and there's a lot of dynamics of how you want a turn to handle to
So,
juggle in there.
so how much interaction like can you counter what the opponent is doing? Or like, is it an
Mhm.
interactive game or is it just me doing my thing, you doing your thing, and
It's
let's see who
fairly
win?
interactive, but you're going to see a lot of these surprises handle the interaction. So, like a fighter directly might have some interaction in your opponent's turn, but
Mm-hmm.
the surprises for sure are going to be the major way to
Yeah, the
kind of reply to your
surprises.
opponent's.
I,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to read some because it's pretty small
Oh,
and
keep going down.
there are more.
There you go. The yellow cards are the surprises up there.
What are these? Oh,
There you go. There you
those
go.
are
So it's
spell
like,
and those are trap. So when your opponent casts a spell, counter it. Well, that I like that.
yeah, straight up a
Simple.
blue card right there. People love that one.
And they all cost 3.
Yep.
And so you play them when you play them flipped, or when you
Uh,
unflip them.
Pay to set face down. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't need to have open mana to reveal them.
Yep.
And do you get mana during your opponent turn or only during your turn?
Only during yours, and that's why we like
I see.
it's
That makes sense
pay to
then.
play, but free to flip kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then you don't have to worry about mana in your opponent's turn at all.
Okay, so like yeah, you don't need to keep mana open, or so it's really hard for the opponent to know if there's something coming or not. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
Saving Grace is amazing. I love that card.
Yeah,
It's like if somebody attacks your fighter and it's going to be destroyed, you
uh,
can flip that surprise and it basically keeps it alive with 1 health and it's immune to everything for the rest of that opponent's turn.
because what I didn't like about
Pretty good.
Hearthstone is that, or at least when I was playing it, there was not much interaction. When it's the opponent turn, it just do boom, 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 and
Yeah.
then I just check what's left on my battlefield,
Mhm.
and I don't like it that much. I feel like
Yeah.
it was kind of a double goldfish kind of thing.
Mhm.
I want
I think
to interact.
it makes sense in Hearthstone because you're kind of in there for just a quick bite, I feel like.
Yes.
And if you have to worry about the timing of an opponent's thing and you're like trying to run to the bathroom in between turns, you're screwed. But
Yeah.
like in a card game, like a physical card game, you can do a lot more with interactions. And in future sets, I'm sure you'll find cards from us that'll be like, you can only activate this during your opponent's turn, or maybe we'll introduce an instant card type where it's like a special spell that you can activate anytime.
I like Nope. I want to play some Nope.
Nope is fun. And like, so the surprises, I thought about funny ways that I could like add card at the end of something. So we have a reverse card.
Oh, I see.
So it's not quite Uno, but it's like it's a reverse and it's a card. So it's a reverse card.
I see. And so like, do you think it's possible to have a control deck, or like it's every deck is kind of aggro? Like, is there a different strategy that you can foresee?
Yes. Yeah, so control deck for us would be probably the bind deck. So anytime you attack an opponent, You basically bind their fighter, and we rotate them 90 degrees just to kind of show it. But it basically says that they can't attack during your opponent's next turn. So that's really a great way to control.
It's a board control kind of thing, and we saw there is stack control. But is there a way to win if you just control? Can you put like a haymaker after? No.
No, I mean, like, even if you have a bind deck, there's cards that straight up damage fighters or like stop them from attacking or stop abilities entirely. So we've tried to really break the game for the past year. And we've done it a couple times early on, but since then it's been really solid. And like anytime we found something, we just patched a few words on a card and it was fixed. And so we feel really confident with the state of play testing right now for it.
I think here those are like evolution of the same creature, right? Look like that. Why did you choose to go with evolutions? Like,
because I mean, just coming from the Pokemon side, I love the power up, and there's a lot of draw to it. I mean, even Yu-Gi-Oh, you go from a Blue Eyes to a Blue Eyes Ultimate to alternative. Like, they just keep power scaling. Dragon Ball is all about power scaling. Pokemon is, I mean, everything's kind of, you get more powerful, so why not represent it artistically?
Well, the issue that I have with evolving system is that you put a lot of your eggs in one basket, and it means it like, I don't know if you have a card that just say destroy target creature.
No, nothing like that. Because we're working in prize counters. So if we did stuff like that, I mean, you're losing 1/10 of the game with one card, which didn't seem fair.
So it makes creature very like a big part of the game.
Yeah. So creatures are definitely important, and every loss of a creature like feels personally like you're responsible and you don't want it to happen. It's not just, I blew away Dark Magician, who cares?
And like so your life point, I mean, we saw the life point are those kind of token, but you say the hero also have some life point.
Yep. So heroes have 40, and then that's what every hero has right now.
So how much bookkeeping do you like? You know, when I see game like that, I'm always worried about having to bookkeep too many things like poison and like how much this creature have life points and stuff like that.
Nothing like that. We don't have any like burn or poison or constant damage. The only one that comes to mind is we have one arena card that deals a damage to all fighters that don't have equipment on them, and that's about the extent of it.
And you say the damage is permanent, so like if my Sumperkin, you get 1 damage, you go to 5 and stuff like that.
We do have a lot of cards that heal themselves at the end of turns, so that could be a thing that's a little bit of housekeeping, but games on average are like 20-30 minutes, you know.
And like, I saw there are so many zones here, but I think I kind of understand. It just, did you need so many? Like,
so we put them on there to say that that's the limit. So you can only have 7 fighters, and you can only have 6 in the back row. And if you run out of space, you can't play anymore. Like, when so we had to add that many to kind of like restrict people.
When I look at the playmat, I don't know, that's not the one I wanted to show, but I wanted to show the other one here. Like, the playmat looks cool, but like there is just so many, you know, so many zones.
So the good thing is, like, once you actually start playing, by about turn 2 or 3, you should feel like you already know how to play the game. And everybody we played with at Tampa at the Collectors Con, like, same thing. By turn 3, they're like, oh, I get this. And it's really not that bad. Like, you got your fighters, and that's the entire like middle row. You got your hero, he's already there. And the 3 to the right and left are the same zone. So there's really only like 4 things you got to worry about.
That might be good to have some playmat with less marks on it. You know, once you know how to play the game, that kind of like looks a bit heavy.
Maybe color code them so that it's like, there's only really 4 things. We just put spaces there.
Yeah,
give you some guidelines for your card.
I think those two rows, the fighters, hero, and surprise spell, you don't really need them. Like your fighter go in front of you, you have your hero, and then left.
But the trick is you can only have 7 fighters in play at any time.
See. You can
have infinite tokens though, which kind of gets fun. But.
And like about the surprise spell and equipment, are you capped at 6?
Yep, you can only have 6. That includes equipment too. So if you have too much out, you can't like keep going, so to speak.
I see. And like, so, right, I think I understand roughly how the game works. How long a game takes?
About 20-30 minutes.
20-30 minutes.
In the beginning, I was definitely trying like extremely powerful decks against extremely other powerful decks, and we could push that time limit further. But now it's kind of sped up, and we are looking at alternate rules sets to give for like a quick play. and a multiplayer play where you've got like 4 players in one game. So but our base rule set that we're currently acting on is about 20-30 minutes.
And do you think it's designed for best of 1 or best of 3?
Best of 3. There is a lot of like draw power luck involved. We really cut down on searching deck because when I went to Pokemon Worlds in 2018,
I know,
like everybody was drawing cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of
searching through constantly. Yu-Gi-Oh too, yeah. So I really wanted to cut that down. There's only one card in base set that I could think of that lets you search your deck for a card, and the rest of it's all like draw cards, and that's how you're gonna do
like things. If one game is 30 minutes and best of 3 kind of, that looks kind of too long. I think from a practical point of view as a tournament organizer, I think 50 minutes is always kind of the max you can spend, just because after people get bored or the tournament structure become too complicated. Like 3 rounds of 50 minutes is already 3 hours. Yeah. So if you have like 24
and I mean, the big thing right now is I am teaching people how to play. So that number is sure to come down if you're experienced and your opponent is too. But at least in my experience so far, it's been 20-30 minutes, like with teaching somebody. So,
so you think, so best of 3 been with the sideboard?
We haven't really decided what the sideboard number should be, but it does make sense to have it. So I probably look at what other card games do and choose the best of. Maybe a 10 card sideboard is probably fine.
I think there are 2 ways to do things. Like you can keep it as a best of 1 and make the game with like not much hate cards. Or you can also like sideboard before you play. Like Flesh and Blood, you sideboard when you see your opponent hero. And it's still only 1 game. And then you have classics that is, with more life and takes 50 minutes. And there is Blitz where it's 20 life and it's less life and it's faster, no sideboard.
I think a side deck would make sense because we work with weakness and resistance on fighters. I see. So maybe you notice that your opponent has this really annoying fighter that's weak to dark. You could throw in a dark evolution line into your deck.
I see.
So I think we probably would do a sideboard, and I think I'm comfortable with 10 cards because that's a fairly large amount. If we come back
to the Kickstarter, so how many cards are you planning to have in this set?
185.
Oh, well, it seems decent. I think you need at least 100 to have something. And and getting over 200 become too hard in terms of playtesting and stuff. Like, I think that's a nice number. And how many of those cards do you think are actually good? Like, do you have a lot of filler, or is
honestly not a lot of filler? Like some of the lower evolutions, maybe, but they build up to something good. And a lot of our non-evolving fighters are incredibly powerful. Like if you go to the cards tab up top here, and then do view all fighters by evolution line.
Oh, it became so big.
Okay, so like this will show every evolution line. Some of our lower ones, like they still are very, very powerful. And then when you get to the way bottom, it's cards that don't evolve. And all of those definitely have a purpose. Like some can bring fighters back from the dead. My favorite is Mimicus, which is like, it's this mimic treasure chest underwater. And if somebody defeats one of your fighters, it goes underneath Mimicus. And they don't take any prize counters for it. So you can essentially store up prize counters under this fighter and delay, losing the game, which is really fun. But these are all of our single evolutions.
Yeah, no, I see. Oh, there is special evolution too. What are those special evolutions?
Yes. So this is the Gamatron. You got Gundra behind you. Yeah. But this one, if you have all 4 of these fighters in play, you can sacrifice all 4 to summon Gamatron from literally anywhere. And that's the only way to get him out. No other tricks, no other gimmicks. But he is like our Exodia level character, in my opinion.
How can you, like, are those like level 4 or something? Like, how can you get Gundra? So you have to do 1, 2, 3, and then this, and then this?
So Gundra costs 4 mana, and so does Aegisect, Metemix, and Excalibur. But once you have all 4 of them, then you get the Gamatron. Nice. And his ability is so cool. When he punches a hero directly, it does 1 more damage for each card in both players' void. So if it hits a hero, you're probably going to end the game in either 1 turn or 2.
Oh, so I see.
It's a big push to make sure you don't get punched by Gamatron.
I like this Gundra. I mean, they all look cool. Like those, I mean, it gives me a mix of Power Ranger vibe, and this guy remind me of, I don't know if you know Gavan, that's a very old Japanese TV show that was kind of like precursor of Power Ranger and stuff like that. There was a dragon that was coming, and he had a lightsaber like that. I mean, that's in the 70s and 80s. So
see, nostalgia, you already got it.
Yeah, well, this guy talked to me. No, I think I get it. So how many so I'm a bit lost with all the rarity. So you have how does it work? Let me try to.
So rarity, we got a common, uncommon, rare. The typical. Then we have a void rare, which is like basically our ultra rare cards, and they're all alternate arts of existing fighters or heroes. And then we have one gold rare, which is like the chase card of the whole pack, and that's our lucky frog.
So well, that's too many cards.
Look at all those cards. It's beautiful.
So if I want to play, here this one. So
that he's awesome.
So he's hard to get.
Oh yes, like 1 in 777 packs. It'll be a solid chase.
And is it a good card or not?
So Lucky Frog, there is an uncommon version of him in base set, and you honestly feel like a monster if you take him out of the game. Because he helps both players. When he's in play, each player draws one more card at the start of their turn. So now you're both drawing 2 cards.
Because what bothers me is when you have game where it's too hard to get the card that you need to play the game.
Yeah. Will not be the case in ours. Void rares will always be alternate arts of existing cards. The only exception is Shiga, which is like our main villain. He's a hero in here, and he's only in void rare. But as far as fighters, we won't ever necessarily hide one behind that.
So all those I guess those are special rare. Forgot how you called it.
Yeah, so those are just alternate arts of really high-end fighters in the game.
So that looks like Mario here.
Right.
So I'm okay with just I lost it again. I'm okay with just rares, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Rares and below, you can play the game easily. And we've got 6 starter decks we're putting out with all these cards in them too. So if you want to play a game,
and higher rarity are just because it looks better, but they have the same functionality.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
With the exception of Shiga. Shiga's a void rare only hero, but he's not particularly
just one card.
Good.
Also, this is all right. So in average, how many bucks do you need? Do you think you need to have a competitive deck?
Competitive deck? Honestly, our starter decks are pretty powerful. It was really making a game is easy compared to making a deck that is intentionally not as powerful as it could be for me. To make a weaker deck was really challenging because I wanted to put all the good cards in.
Yeah.
But I'd say competitive deck, you could easily just do a box or 2 and be fine.
A box or 2.
Yeah.
So we can look a bit at.
I mean, 5 packs in a starter deck, you'll probably have a pretty good deck.
So 1 box. So this one is something that you think is good, 1 box, 6 starter deck, and adding one more box.
I would say that right there with another box, you have an amazing party night with 6 friends.
I see.
You're gonna really like the game for a while after that with those people.
And if you for collectors, we want to maybe not the lucky frog, but if you want to try to pull one of each secret rare, how many box do you think? And what's the rarity for the secret rare? Do you know?
If you wanted to collect one of each void rare, I would ask you if you've ever tried to collect an entire Pokemon set in the modern era, because it's going to be about as hard.
I see.
Pokemon has so many alt rares that are just insanely hard to pull. And our voids are only roughly 1 in 25, but there's 17 of them. So, I mean...
1 in 25, okay. And
roughly 1 in 25. So you take 25 times, 17, that's a fairly big number of packs.
No, but that's going to be much more. But
yeah.
So a box is what, 24 or 36?
36.
Okay, so
if it's 425 packs to get all the voids minimum, then you're looking at probably a couple cases.
So it means are you guaranteed to have 1 void per box? Or
we're gonna try to. I'm trying to keep the distribution of them low enough where you have a really good chance of being.
Yeah, I mean it's all about how the printing work. If it's a pre-established pattern or if it's completely random. Yeah. Most of companies use a pre-established pattern, and you are guaranteed. Because it makes you feel really sad if you don't have at least 1 good card in a box.
I think so, yeah.
So
you're definitely gonna have a lot of hollows, but we're gonna make them feel special again.
Oh yeah, so you have hollows too. Okay.
Yep, hollows are 1 in 3 there.
So So one booster every 3 booster, and
Mhm.
are they just the same card but just holo?
Yep. So I guess it's not really super easy to show on the website. Those just kind of show the art.
Mm.
But our holographics are a lot of the high end, like rare fighters.
Mhm.
About half of those are holographic.
Ah,
And they're
okay.
really nice. Actually, I took like 2 weeks of my life to, cut out the fighter from the background and make a hollow pattern for it.
Mhm.
So they look really good. But
So
even these void rares are selectively holographic too.
So like if you get a void rare, it's gonna be always holographic.
Yep.
You're not gonna
Always.
have a PT version that is not holographic.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
All right, that sounds
They'll
good.
all be holographic. And like the void rares have I actually have the samples right here. Void rares have like a pillars of light kind of foil. So something like this.
It's really hard to see with. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
sure
that's very shiny.
And then the holographics have like kind of a star foil.
Ah, okay, yeah,
Yep.
we saw that. That's kind of like in
Disappear me there.
Metazu. But
So yeah, like a kind of a light line is what they're calling it, but I call it a star.
I do like the booster box dragon. And
It's really cool.
And so do you do like selective foiling? Or
Yes.
etching or
That one was a pain in the butt. Like I had to cut every individual card out and like the selective levels between the cards and the like orb on his chest, like what parts of those are more holographic than others. So it's not just binary, it's very gradient.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And are those your hero?
Yep. So those are the full art heroes.
So I don't know. They look. The art looks kind of different,
Which is very intentional. Like Transformers looks different than Pokemon, looks different than Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
So to kind of capture it all, we have to not just go characters, but like art style.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the Pokemon sets, you got claymation and like 3D and hand drawn. So we'll probably keep a variety of art, but we'll keep it at a high level.
Let me try to find the non-foil, the non-full art heroes.
Yeah,
I want to see how they look. Okay.
And a couple of them, we took like a 2D approach on a couple, but most of them have that like 3D painted vibe to them.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just they look kind of, how can I say, serious. Not it's not like, I don't feel nostalgic or like cute and fun. It looks more
so
like...
our heroes, we kind of went a different direction. Our heroes are like specifically nostalgics, and all the fighters are kind of the nostalgic part of it. But like the heroes are from our universe, so they should feel kind of foreign to begin with.
I do like the Shinga. I don't know if he's good, but
yeah, Shiga's pretty cool. He's got a good story too. So like if you go to the top of the site, we have a lore section, and we are doing stories. Oh yeah, the story section. Sorry. We're building backgrounds on all of our heroes and kind of like writing the stories of how they interact with the world and giving like real names, locations.
And so having a different hero, what does it change? Do you have like red mana, green mana, or something like that?
Nope, different abilities. So you can really use any hero in any deck.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So okay. So same deck I can play with any hero?
Yep.
Oh,
or yourself as any hero. Yeah.
With one of, I see. Like this one, say once per turn you may pay 1 mana to restore 1 life. Oh, that's kind of my style. Once per turn you may pay 1 mana to draw 1 card. Void 2 cards from the top of your... Oh, that's even more my style. I like control on drawing cards. So
I like Bilask and Brecon are really, really powerful in my opinion.
Bilask. Once per turn you may add 1 price counter to your opponent's pool. So what does it mean?
So basically instead of them having to defeat 10, it's 11 now. But you lose a little bit of your hero's life, so it's a trade-off.
That's kind of direct attack. I see. That's pretty cool. I like the full art too. But the other one looks cool too. And can those be foil?
The heroes, the standard rares, we're not going to do foil just so we get them in everybody's hands as quickly as possible. But the full arts, those will be a little bit harder to pick up. Yeah.
I see. Sounds cool. I think we reviewed like the gameplay. We saw most of the card. Can we talk a bit about like what to back right now and kind of what to do now and what's the future of the game? So when do you think the first set? I mean, this set, whatever there is no name for the set, I guess. When do you think base set? When do you think it's going to be shipped?
So the public timeline says June because so campaign ends January 1st. Kickstarter tracks down all the cats, essentially, so to speak. They herd the cats, that is the community, and gets everybody's credit cards paid. And that's the hardest part for their effort. On the 14th, they're done with that process and they send me whatever they got after canceled pledges and such. From the 14th to February 1st, we're going to have Backer Kit kind of be a post-campaign survey.
So 2 weeks?
So it's like, hey, it's like, do you want any extra stuff? Do you want another playmat? Maybe you didn't initially, but you do now.
And you confirm your address, which is very important.
Confirm your address and pay shipping, all that stuff. So that'll be important. And then at that point, I send the money to the printers and I go, like make day 0 and first edition. That starts a process where they have to buy the holographic for the game and all the paper and plastic supplies it takes. And due to the size of Pokemon, holographic's hard to get right now. So there's an 8 to 10 week turnaround, which is the biggest timeline part right now that we're facing. So that puts us back to roughly April. And I'm not 100% sure how long a card game takes to print, but it seems like it's less than a month. And they said it doesn't take much time at all. So I was like,
really depends if you're happy with the result of the printing and if you're okay with the paper.
Yep.
But
so we put a huge emphasis on the quality of the paper. But once they get the supplies in April or like maybe late March, they produce the game and they ship it to our fulfillment company over in New Jersey.
I see.
So realistically, I could hold a box probably in April. But when could the average backer? Probably June. We're going to aim to go earlier, but under promise, over deliver.
And what's the plan for local game store? Like, will it be the... So I understand you have a Kickstarter edition, Day 0, that is already sold out.
Yes.
And you have which is hard for me, but we can talk about it. And you have a first edition that we can still get. So how about retailer? What will they get? First edition or second edition?
First edition. So when we launched the Kickstarter, we looked at the history of Kickstarters. D-Spirits was the biggest one ever. They were at like 550 some thousand, and their booster box limit was like 3,000 boxes. And then they added a couple more after the fact, and people weren't happy that they adjusted the print run of it. So we kind of went in large, and it's scary, starting out making your Kickstarter, because you're gonna have to front this bill if you just say, I'm making this many boxes. You got to pay for that. So I was like, okay, 5,000. That's higher than D-Spirits. Can we aim to be the biggest TCG ever? And I'm still at fault for 5,000 boxes to produce, and that's a lot of money. So we did it, and then it sold out in 3 days. It was fully funded in 30 seconds, and I'm like, what the crap? We have a YouTuber that's going to do a massive showcase for us later this week, Unlisted Leaf. He's the biggest Pokemon YouTuber, like 2.2 million subscribers. And we have that audience coming in with no product. What do I do? So we faced the challenge. Do we increase Day 0's print run and lose all of our credibility the same way that other card games had done in the past and like kind of betrayed the trust of the community for print run transparency? Or do we find another solution? So I took first edition and I accelerated the timeline and included part of that allocation in the Kickstarter, just so we have some product availability.
But you understand, like I want to pledge. Now I feel like I do understand people who already pledge, they're happy. But for people like me that check the Kickstarter now, they feel like I'm getting a second tier product, kind of.
So first edition, we are changing a lot of things that we couldn't do given the timeline of Day 0. So first edition, I've kind of like teased at this, but I can say that we're changing the Void Rare fighters in first edition. So they'll be completely different from Day 0. So there's going to be a big demand to get this new set and get the new cards in there. And we're also going to have an exclusive blister pack version. Actually, just got my little white plate of it, but we're going to have like little blister packs where inside of here, we'll just obviously have a pack. We're going to have artist signature cards in here that are like the golden etched.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to hide like, let's just say 500 into all the blister packs ever made for first edition. And that's going to be a huge pull for people to want
it's
first
hidden
edition.
Inside the box?
Yeah, it'll be like an additional
like
card
a box
that you get
topper,
instead of an uncommon.
But not all the time, right?
No, and it'll swap a card in the pack. So you can't like wait to find the difference. It'll, instead of an uncommon, you'll get a signed card and
that's
stuff.
Cool. That's cool.
So we're doing a lot of stuff to build up the desirability of first edition. It's not not a secondhand product. It's just a continuation of the growth of the game. So
Mm-hmm.
we're really trying to make it special in its own way, and that's why I changed like the pack art and the poster box artwork.
What do you recommend to book now in terms of add-on and stuff like that? So
if you're a character that kind of worries about the cost of Netflix every month,
yeah,
like just get a couple starter decks. Like get a $49 pledge for 2 different starter decks and play with your wife or play with your kid and teach them the game. That's really all you need to play.
So those boxes are one starter, right?
So Cluster Fox and Divine Rule.
6.
Yep. So we have like 3 different things, and we kind of built starter decks that worked well with other ones. We did that 3 times.
To the, is there like 6? I understand there is no mana, but like, is there some affiliation or something? Like, can you just mix those cards together? Is there no?
You could, but we built these decks to have very specific feels. So like Huntsman works well against Mako, and it's like fair. Turnip works against Singularity. Cluster Fox works against Divine Rule. So like those are kind of versus decks is what we're calling them.
I see. So,
but average person, I would say like,
yeah,
if you've got some money to spend and you like card games, pick up a box, pick up the 6 decks. You're good.
This one.
If you love doing like box breaks on Twitch and stuff, consider picking up a case. That's that level right there.
So that's 6 boxes.
And if you're absolutely insane and you hate money, but you like card games, anything below that's fine. But like truthfully, that's just the people that really want to like get every card.
So like $550 you get 1 case, but $1,000 you get 2 case plus 6 starter.
Yep. And that's like, that could also be a local game store level. Basically anything below a case, in my opinion, is LGS or like mega collector level.
Well, it's after it's hard for LGS to make profit if we pay the same price as a shop, as a normal backer. But
and the MSRP for a box is going to be like $143 because it's basically $4 a pack times 36 packs.
Oh, I see.
So in that regard, like the Kickstarter is, $50 off almost per box.
And like, is there so I'm sure you have so many stretch goal and add-ons, I'm a bit lost. So like, what is this one? Unlisted Agent Recruit?
Yep. So that's Unlisted Leaf. That's our YouTuber that's going to have the showcase next week.
Oh,
and he actually got me back into collecting. So he's kind of a hero for me personally. So I wanted to honor him as a hero in the game. But that comes with his promo card and 5 day 0 packs. So even if you missed out on day 0, you can still get them through the box.
So you can still get some 0. Okay. And how do
you? And all the starter decks are day 0 stamped, but they have like specific numbering for the starter deck.
Yeah.
So it's like SD1, 1 of 51.
But so with that, you can still get some boosters.
Yep. Like so you can still get day 0 out of that. Yeah. You got a chance for a frog, day 0 edition.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, this is all sold out, but that's the same thing, but day 0.
It was insane. Like we have a video of it launching and just in 30 seconds, 1,000 and like 30 minutes is at 300,000. It was a wild morning. I did not expect that at all. So we've really had to grow and change our expectations and change our marketing, like you mentioned. And it's been a good experience, but a surprising one to be fair.
And you can add up to $12 per backer. Yeah.
Yep.
You should have put Canadian dollar instead of those Australian dollar. There is no Canadian dollar.
Right.
Why do you put the Australian dollar? I mean, I'm kidding.
Right. So it is hard to choose. I don't know. British pounds. I should have taken that one off.
So I like those playmats.
God, Gamatron Alpha is so cool. I love that character.
So that's a card in the game, right?
Yeah. So that's a Kickstarter exclusive version of Gamatron. Because basically we have a plot point where there's a battle between our main villain and like the quote unquote good guys, but they're not entirely good. And they pull out this Gamatron that punches our villain and it kind of explodes. So that's Gamatron Alpha. He's no longer around, but he's got a really cool card.
So that's this card. So how do you get this card? All backer will get. Okay.
Yep. So if you're a backer, you get a Gamatron. You can add up to 4 more if you really, really want to.
I see. And then you have this flashy
little Kabu plush. Yeah. I bring him to conventions. People love him.
And you have one more playmat that is Cosmic Kabu, but like kind of like retro, like Disney style.
Yeah, a little classic Disney love there.
And you can get one. I do like this one.
We just really wanted to shake up what a card looks like already and kind of give it a cool artistic.
You have a lot of those. I mean, that costs a lot of money if you want to get everything.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we put these out there thinking we would hit 300,000 today. But I mean, we hit all these in like 3 days.
Yeah. So like one more flushy. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually just got the prototype images of that.
And here you have the jacket. $250.
I actually have one.
Well, that's.
I have one of those.
I think I will have to pass for the jacket.
It's really comfy.
Do you give it this? Like, is it what, a PDF?
So that one, no backers are going to get it, but we have started making it. It's basically like a creative stretch goal for us.
Oh,
now we can actually start allocating. Yeah.
And
because a graphic novel takes so long to make, we couldn't turn it around quick enough.
Yeah, of course. And then so what are those, like silver metal card with your backer number? So there is silver, there is gold.
Yep, those actually just launched today because we hit 900,000. So every backer gets a silver metal card, and then there was 1,000 gold ones available as add-ons, and they sold out in like 15 minutes again. I felt kind of bad, but like at least they sold out because it is a Kickstarter exclusive. You can't, have extras. But a lot of people got those today, and that was pretty nice to see.
I don't know if it's the right people. That always the right people. I can't get it.
I know we didn't have bots. I can say that much because like.
Oh no, I'm not saying bot. It's just like.
Yeah, I get bot checked all the time.
I hope I will not see those on eBay like right after.
Right.
And so you have the champion. You will have a world championship, and if you get 2 million, which might be a bit difficult.
That's a meme tier anyway. I don't think we'll hit 2 million.
Idea. So you want the next? The ultimate goal would be to make an online version of the game.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you.
Online, we got to be in like AR, VR, computer, mobile, wherever you want to play it, you can play against other players. That's a goal of mine. It's not going to slow down. We're getting too close to this mixed reality. We got to start looking that direction.
So you can play on Tabletop Simulator?
Yeah, you can also open packs on there too. On the right side of that screenshot, we opened like 50 of them and had a blast.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, this doesn't happen so often that you can actually open pack. You need a pack simulator. I do like those. Okay, I see.
My kid's terrified of Xenobot. I love it.
No, that's good. That's good.
It's like big robot.
So let me see. And do you have a plan for next set?
Yes, we actually already have all the heroes for the next set planned, and we have. I've been asking people for card suggestions. We're truly going to use a lot of them. If you've got a good idea, I'm willing to entertain it. I've got like a little suggestion box even over here that's just flooded with ideas, and anytime I've got one, I throw it in there. But I'd say we're about 15-25% done with set 2 here.
I see. I think a lot of people are asking you about the day 0.
I just wanted to put it there in case.
That's good. Yeah. And so you're at what, like 900,000 US?
Yeah, like 917, and I never expected to be gunning for 1 million, but like I guess we are.
Do you have any goal? Like, I guess that doesn't really change your workflow now. Like, if you get like 200,000-300,000 more, that's not going to change really the way it works. You're already over what you needed, so you just need to be able to provide something. What is your favorite? Sorry, go ahead.
You asked about distributors earlier.
Yes.
And we do have a US distributor, a Canadian one, a European one, and as of like a couple days ago, an Australian one that we're talking with. Contracts for those should be finished this week, and we're going to be trying to launch a pre-order for local game stores as soon as we can, honestly, before like I want to place the first edition and day 0 order at the same time to get like a cost discount. So we'll be placing it at the end of January. So essentially through game stores, you'll have until like late January to make a purchase. And then we're taking an entire total and, shipping out worldwide. So
LGH would receive the product at the same time as backers?
Theoretically, backers could get a box earlier. Like if they had day 0 or first edition through Kickstarter, they might get one earlier. But the majority of people, that hear about this game later won't be on Kickstarter. They'll be looking for them in LGS.
Okay, well that sounds good. I work with LGS. We will look into that.
Yeah.
And so
summary play is going to be huge.
Summary is that it's a card game that seems not too complicated to understand. You have trap cards. They are called secrets. So that's an interactive it is interactive. The art is the goal of the art is to feel nostalgic about it, to bring you back to your old memories. But the game is still like from 6 to 60, so kind of accessible to everybody. And like you should, like a recommendation would be to get like one box and one of each starter deck, or a couple of box. But the starter deck are really good. Do they have unique card, the starter deck, or is the same card as the booster?
They've all got unique like combinations of cards, but they are from the base set.
Okay. So like if you buy like 1 million booster box, you will have all the cards. You don't need to start.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
But we're just starting you off because I mean, like once you get it to a new game, it's always a little intimidating to make a deck. So we're like, here's a base, and go.
That's good.
Play on Tabletop Sim. We have dedicated channels on our Discord for that. And I've been seeing games going live every hour for like the past couple of days. It's been really cool to see people playing it.
Well, I hope you will have some starter deck so that we can play to each other.
Heck yeah.
That would be interesting to show how it looks. And I think we cover everything that looks, I was a bit worried first when I look at the game, because when you see those big numbers, it's
worry
very
like, what's behind that? Is it just some vanilla corporate entity that only wants money? It's like, no, it's just some dude in the second story apartment that got lucky and put 5 years of his life to making something fucking awesome.
Yeah, so it does look interesting. It's definitely something I would be, now I understand a bit the rule. I would be looking forward, like trying the game, if there is a way to do it one day.
We should play Tabletop Sim together sometime. Like,
I don't like tabletop,
Fair. That's just like the best way. I could send you like a print and play deck. We've got little computer paper ones we put in sleeves, and it's fun. But like
we can see. Well, I hope I hope you guys you like this review / interview / in depth. We covered a lot. If you have some question, you can put them in the comment. There is a Discord for Nostalgic. I will put the link below, and I think Sava will review the comments in the video, and he can answer probably better than me. But definitely look like something fun, something with like some good vibe with the art, and something that I thought it will be very expensive, but that looked like it could be, with like $200 or $200, you should have enough to just like enjoy the game.
I think so too, yeah.
So that looks like, I think it's much much better than what I thought, and that's probably kind of my surprise of the month.
Good.
So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this, and if I hear anything, if we have anything more to show you about Nostalgics, we will do a video about it, and we will show it to you. Otherwise, I wish you all a very nice holidays. Keep track. The Kickstarter is closing January 1st. So don't forget about it if you want to back it. But otherwise, you can still go to the LGS, and please go to Infinity because that's our sponsor. And if we have a lot of demand, we will try to. Oh, it's going up.
It just went up again. It's good to see at the end of our video. Hey.
So if we see some demand, we will try to get it at the store too, and you will save on shipping and stuff like that, so it can be good. All right, thanks guys. Thanks Sava, and
happy holidays. See you guys on Discord.
Yes, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.